Hello again and welcome back to the UK edition ahead of this winter election that is turning wintry in other ways. After that long Indian summer, we now have an Indian winter in Britain politically. Relations between a lot of Indians and the Labour Party, traditionally strong, have turned cold since that party resolution on Kashmir, which was wildly abusive of the Indian government. That was a position that party leader Jeremy Corbyn did nothing to disown and in fact only underlined. Now party chair Ian Levery says that that position has been undone, but has it been unsaid more than it's been undone, or just said in different and apparently acceptable disguised language? This is now taking on a religious color. A lot of Muslim groups in Britain are very openly and actively supporting Corbyn. Pakistan has called on them to do so in an unusual diplomatic position, and now Hindu groups are reacting. A question has now arisen over temples such as this in Wembley, whether, in the face of what appears to be a Labour ownership of the Muslim vote, there should now be a Hindu vote that should go the other way. Umeshji, we have a lot of concern over the issue of Jammu and Kashmir and over the position the Labour leadership has taken.
As a chair of Hindu Council UK, which is umbrella body of more than 200 Hindu groups in UK, we are hugely disappointed at the stand Labour Party has taken. Without any notice, they have passed this resolution where they are supporting Kashmir stand with Pakistan and with other organizations. I think Labour should follow the guidelines of UK government, what they are doing, and that is not to interfere in internal matters of India.
It's not just Hindu groups, it's the Indian community that's taking a stand inevitably supportive of the Indian government given this situation.
It's not Hindu community alone, it is the entire Indian community which is angry about what they have done, what Labour has done on Kashmir. They are not supposed to be interfering in any of the India's internal matters, but since they have done so, what has happened is that has angered the community in full. More than 100 organizations are together. So it's not Hindus alone, it's all organizations which have gone together and they want to oppose Labour.
But a lot of Hindu organizations have given this call to oppose Labour in this election.
Part of members of Hindu community along with other communities are opposing Labour, and they are doing it. See, now it has become a community issue. It's not any party or politics, it's again a community issue. The Indians living in United Kingdom are against the Labour's stand. The Labour stand has been totally against India, and the Indian community doesn't like it, so they have gone against them.
What is the evidence that enough people in the community are concerned enough about this?
All around we get lot of messages, lot of people meet us on street, lot of people have gone together in conversing, and I've seen it happening in many parts of UK that people have taken it on themselves to go out and speak against Labour. They have done so, and it is happening day in and day out. The only way this could have stopped was Labour doing something on its own, but they didn't.
Do you believe this can make a difference to the outcome of this election? And you think finally that this can have an influence on the election results?
See, some of the areas have a good number of Indians living, and those Indians, if they in total vote for Conservatives, it will really make a difference in the results, and results will be different than what it was last time.
What happens when you have a popular Indian candidate from a party that is proving a little less than popular among Indians? Think Virendra Sharma. Indian origin MP for Ealing Southall, Virendra Sharma, kicked off his campaign in style last week. Amidst the call for Hindus and more widely people of Indian origin to oppose Labour, Virendra Sharma is a personally popular figure. He holds the seat by a huge margin of 22,000. Could this new campaign make a difference in his constituency, and should it? Sharma ji, are you confident with this election now?
Of course, I'm always confident that people of Ealing Southall are always behind me and the Labour Party. And I'm quite confident that the next election on 12th of December, irrespective of any propaganda, we will be the winners, and Jeremy Corbyn, the next Prime Minister, and the Labour will form the government.
But there is a dispute within your Labour Party over Kashmir, and there is a lot of disquiet among the Indian community over Corbyn's views on this. Is this going to be a factor?
I don't think that this is an issue. As a British parliamentarian, I will be discussing. I will be discussing the social issues, social care issues, unemployment in Britain, homelessness in Britain. As a British parliamentarian, that's my responsibility and the duty.
But you may discuss that, but this is on people's mind.
I still believe that this is a propaganda by the Conservative Party, who wanted to divide the communities in Britain. Because they never had those votes, they will not have the votes.
But there is no doubt that Corbyn has taken the position he has taken, and that's not the Conservative propaganda.
This is not the Labour Party policy. This is not the NEC recommendations. It's the individual view. Anybody can express it. I'm saying...
Individual view of Corbyn?
Corbyn, yes, it is not the Labour Party view. I can vouch for that. I can say that with full confidence.
Like it or not, these issues have arisen. But to step back a little now from this Islamization of politics and now some Hinduization of it to good old cultural Hindu ways, Diwali is just gone. But before we say goodbye to it, finally, a touch of that good old Ramlila. The Hindu Cultural Society in Finchley in London keeps old traditions alive with some differences, of course. Hear that from the actors.
On Diwali, we are performing a Rajyabhishek, Ram Rajyabhishek. And when Ram came after 14 years of exile, then he was crowned and everybody was happy. So we are just crowning him.
I'm Kushalya, Sumitra, and Yekakai.
The bad one.
I'm the wicked one.
Yes, yes,
I'm
yes.
the one who
She's the
sent
wicked
him to
one.
Vanvas for 14 years.
I am playing Lord Ram today as part of the Rajyabhishek of Ram after Diwali day.
And that's your brother.
I'm Lakshman.
Right. Happy to be his brother?
Very happy, and I will protect him. I have a very very strong temper, so don't mess with me.
Right.
And if anything goes towards him, I'm there to protect him.
Right, and certainly nobody's going to mess with you.
And I'm Hanuman, the savior of Ram. Jai Shri Ram.
Today I'll be playing the role of Sita. She is, in some people's opinion, one of the most important characters of the Ramayana. And without her and the kidnapping and all of this, there would be no Ramlila story. So, arguably the most important character of the Ramlila today.
Yeah, all the fighting's been over you.
Yes, of course.
There is no tradition now without a touch of the Bollywood tradition. This Ramlila, these traditions travelled from Ayodhya to Finchley, mostly via East Africa.
A lot of us, or majority of us, just so happens from East Africa, where people knew each other quite well. And then after that, since 1974, people have been coming regularly. They know each other so well that becomes an almost extended family. Any bereavement or anything else, we all get together, and the support they get is highly appreciated.
This extended family brought its own flavor to the Ayodhya original. Hello and welcome back. Just in time for a word with Lord Loomba, who is not affiliated to any political party, and just how does he see this election campaign shaping up? लुम्बा साहब की बनेगा इलेक्शन अच्छे?
Your guess is as good as mine.
But you are a Lord Loomba Sahab, you sit next door to the Commons, you watch the political space very closely, physically and otherwise.
That is very true. However, the way things are going at the moment, I don't think even the leaders of the parties know what they are doing or what will happen. So for a Lord who is not even affiliated to any party, as you know that I'm a crossbencher.
That's why we want to hear from you, because you are in the political space, you are in the parliament, but you are not affiliated to a party. Where do you see it going? Of course, nobody can say for sure. We are not saying be a soothsayer and tell us the fortune as a fortune teller, but surely, do you think this gamble from Boris will pay off? The one from his predecessor did not.
In any election, it is very difficult to say what will be the outcome. And as we already know that in 2016, Cameron really thought that he was going to win. And he held the referendum. However, he didn't.
What is your understanding of the Labour position on Brexit? What is it?
Well, I am very sad that Labour has made certain statements which can only increase friction between certain communities.
That over Kashmir, but for the moment Brexit, what is the Labour position on Brexit? What is your understanding of it?
Well, you never know what is right and what is wrong because they are both Tories and Labour and even Lib Dem. They're all making statements that we will do this, we will do that, and yet many people have come up, some institutions even have proved that whatever they're pledging, they will not be able to do it because
but
they
Lord
don't
Loomba,
have
the Tory leadership position on Brexit is clear, we want it. The Lib Dem position is clear, we don't want it. Some of us have been trying to figure out what it is that Labour wants. What do you think Labour wants on Brexit? What is it they're saying?
This is the failing of the leader of the Labour. He's sitting on the fence.
Yes, uncomfortably.
Well, you can say that, but the problem is, this is why he's losing. He has lost actually some members, and this is why there are certain members who I know will not be voting for Labour. They will be voting for Tories.
Yes, and that brings in what you were saying a moment back, Lord Loomba, that there have been statements made by the Labour leadership on matters within India that have stirred up the community here, created divisions. Do you think the Labour leadership should have done this?
No. This is Britain. We have a diverse population here. We have, Hindus, we have Muslims, we have Jews, we have Palestinians, you name it. From all over the world, people are living in this country. And the last thing any leader should do is raise conflict between them. Now, certainly, as I see it, since the conference Labour had it in Liverpool, there has been nothing but a very big conflict between Hindus and Muslims, only because of the Kashmir. Now, Kashmir is a problem which is for India and Pakistan to handle. Every time I have participated in the debates in the House of Lords over Kashmir, the minister has categorically said to the Muslim lords who have been campaigning for it that this is an issue between the two countries, India and Pakistan.
Now, Labour has come up, the Labour leadership has come up with a new statement which a lot of people think is the old position disguised as new. It's a more polite way of saying much the same thing. Do you think this pressure has persuaded Labour to change its stand, or is Labour sort of dressing this up in different language and speaking different languages to different communities?
I think whatever the way you want to see it, it was completely wrong of Labour to bring this issue up in the conference, even though now they have retreated, but the damage has been done.
It's not a full retreat, it's not an entire retreat, is it?
I think it is a full retreat in the sense that they have said that it was a mistake and they are not going to take it forward to the UN. However, the damage has been done.
Not sure, but Lord Loomba, but that's your reading of it. Some of us do think that it is more or less the same position dressed up in slightly polite language because they don't want to lose the Indian vote.
No, I think it is a retreat in the sense, and as I understand it, I could be wrong, the leader himself has said that this is not what he meant, and it has been taken in the wrong sense by his council. And
they took it in the wrong sense, but he didn't say anything wrong. So that's what he's saying.
That's what
he's not been understood correctly, but he's not saying that he spoke incorrectly.
That's right. So according to him, I think it's a retreat, even if
temporary and tactical, but then we can have different views on that, Lord Loomba.
What my question is that regardless whether he's retreated or not, the damage has been done.
Yes.
And there are people here now who think that Labour stands for Islam, not for Hinduism. And this is a very big mistake of any political party to take sides, whether they're based on religion or whether they're based on like Jews and Palestinians. You can't do it, Sanjay.
But look at the process of it, Lord Loomba. You've had so many Pakistanis now joining the Labour Party, and this is not individual and spontaneous. This clearly has been organized. So once you have so many people joining, legitimately enough, then they have a vote, legitimately enough, then they show a majority again, legitimately. So this is a process within Labour that has been used by the Pakistanis and in a very clearly sponsored manner.
Yes and no. I think these Pakistanis who will be elected to the parliament, if they are elected, and if they behave like the Chancellor, Javed, or even the Mayor, then there is no problem. But if they behave in a different manner and they bring in religion or India, Kashmir issue into the parliament, then there is going to be a big problem. Not problem for the Indians or Pakistanis, but the problem for the British government. They will not be able to handle it. There will be riots, there will be so much unrest in this country, and then not only Indians and Pakistan will be doing all this, there will be also other nationalities, other religious groups who will also raise their voice. So I think they're on a very wrong path.
But now we have this counter movement from the Indians to counter the Pakistan weight within Labour and the movement within so many Indian groups. You know, you've had well more than over 100 that have written to the Labour leadership on this issue. Do you think this sort of counter movement of the Indian community was inevitable and is inevitable?
It will make some difference, but if Labour decides to go for putting up members for the election of Pakistani origin, like they have been saying, I understand they're going to put more than 100. Then there will be
the councils are full of Pakistani origin people.
Yeah.
So this is parliament, but at the council level, it's really a very, very overwhelming majority of people of Pakistani origin as compared to people of Indian origin. So clearly there is a push behind this, an organized push. Do you think that is right? And if it isn't, is there something the government can do to check it?
There isn't much government can do if members of the parliament are of one religion or another religion or one country or another country, and they decide to bring their home problems into the country which they have adopted, then the government cannot do much about it. And I am afraid that unless whichever government wins, they address this problem right from the beginning, then it will become out of control.
Yes, already you're seeing, as you were pointing out, a great deal of friction in this political space that doesn't arise from any matters to do with this country. But speaking finally of this country, Brexit certainly is an issue. Assuming Brexit happens, will it be good for India or not so good for India?
Brexit will be good for India because we will do more trade with India, provided India wants to do trade with England. Because the way things are...
That's a big if, isn't it?
It's a big if, and if the government, whosoever wins, goes for this division of India and Pakistan, then India will not do the trade. I am convinced that Mr. Modi will react to it, and rightly so. The United Kingdom must not bring this conflict in their own country. It is a conflict between India and Pakistan, and it should remain there. And what, if I may add, what
Please.
Modi has done is really nothing wrong. It is actually, he has made one nation, one country, one people. By doing so, it has not affected Pakistan at all.
No.
And
that's not how they see it, but of course.
Yes, but that's why I'm saying I do not know why they are actually reacting in this manner. Whatever mistakes were made in 1947 or 1950 when 370 clause was instituted, and by removing it, they have not hurt Pakistan. They have only made sure that the Kashmiri part, which belongs to India, will be same as the rest of the country, and the rest of the people in the country can treat that part of the country as the same as they're treating the other part.
But it was the rest of the country already, but it was an odd position that yes, Jammu and Kashmir is a part of India, but people from there are 90% Indian but not 100% Indian. A very odd situation that the government has evened out. Pakistan does look at it another way, and we have to see how the majority in the valley look at it. But would I be right to understand that you are saying that, well, if Labour comes in, this kind of Labour that you see as divisive, then there will be a friction with India. Brexit will not work for India. But if a clear government comes in, say Tory Boris comes in, then you can have a Brexit that will improve potentially trade with India.
I think to some degree you are correct. However, if Labour comes in, let's assume that Labour comes in, and Labour does not play the part which it has played so far and becomes neutral, then Brexit will be as good for India.
If Corbyn reforms, that is, I mean, that again is a very big if now. Thank you very much, Lord Loomba, for talking politics, talking business, and talking so plainly and perceptively with us. Thank you very much again.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Whatever happens through this election, surely the last thing we want to see is some partitioning take place on the fringes of today's Britain. On that hopeful note, bye for now, but of course we'll keep an eye on this election through our subcontinental lens.